Welcome to Thunderbolt. Today we're talking about the life of a YouTuber, and in order to do that, I have invited the famous 홍콩쌤. Welcome.
It's my pleasure to be here, and thanks a lot for offering me such a great opportunity like this.
All right, so let's get right into it. How long have you been a YouTuber?
I started way back in 2014, so when you do the math, it's been 9 years, I guess.
Wow. Okay. Wow, that's a long time.
Yes.
A lot longer than I'd imagine. Okay. So, and you had always been a teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Your adult life has always been a teacher.
Yes, I used to be an English teacher working for a secondary public school.
Okay. And how different is it being a teacher on YouTube or being a teacher on the internet versus being a teacher face-to-face student teacher?
In the classroom, when I teach the kids, it's kind of really just happening, in front of my eyes. So after classes, unfortunately, they cannot just ask me questions. They cannot study because I'm not here, right? They're not here. But YouTube, lectures, they can just, study whenever they want. Right. They can just turn on the YouTube channel and they can just, watching it. They can study. Also, they can just, leave me kind of replies, questions and stuff. I can just, always answer the questions. So it's 24-hour kind of system.
How important is it to have the real classroom experience before becoming a YouTube teacher?
Actually, it doesn't matter, I guess.
Really?
Because it's a totally different. Because if you're, suppose you're teaching in the fields of education, at school for about 30 years. Right. You're fully experienced, right? But still, being filmed in front of the camera, right, you're gonna feel totally super kind of awkward.
Let's talk about the different efforts that you might make as a teacher in real classroom versus teacher on an internet world, I guess. So what are some of the differences?
First thing is no kids, no students when you film yourself, right? So it's very quiet. So you feel very awkward. Sometimes you feel very uncomfortable. You have to overcome the different things and you have to face it. You have to, beat it. Otherwise, you're never gonna just film 3 or just 4 lectures in a day. That's a very one of the biggest problems, I guess.
Do you imagine students being in front of you?
Yes, that's really important, kind of a strategy. Right. So whenever I just film myself, I always, see through the camera, and over the camera, I kind of imagine there are a bunch of students that are kind of laughing or just they're just raising their hands and asking me some questions. Right. Imagination matters.
Okay. What are some of the things that you had to learn, to be an effective online teacher?
So first thing that I learned was, of course, kind of editing things. Editing was very time consuming. It was very tough. You get to spend 7 or just 8 hours, in a day while just editing things. The first thing was editing. But YouTubers world, we have to be kind of creative as kind of possible. Otherwise, our channel is gonna be now totally kind of different, right? Competitive. Right. So editing, and then I kind of searched for information about cooking things. Cooking is it's I think visual things are very important. Right. They can also put a lot of this pictures or videos in very kind of snazzy ways, right? Right. I saw the pictures and videos about cooking. Okay, how can I adapt or how can I use that kind of information, right, to my video things. So
let's put that into perspective for our students. So let's say you shoot videos for an hour. How much time would you spend for editing?
Way back in 2014 when I just started YouTube channel, right, I thought, okay, it's gonna take only 1 or just a couple hours, that's it. But actually when I started editing, it took more than I expected, 6 hours or 7 hours.
That sounds realistic.
I wanted to, perfect, right, as perfect as possible. But guys, there's no such thing just perfect things. The process itself should be kind of perfect, but the outcome is never gonna fulfill your, expectations. So 6 or 7 hours, I guess, overall. Wow. So I had to kind of split it.
Education YouTubers are difficult because you can't really have other people edit for you.
No.
Yeah.
So it's hard for even I hire like a professional editor. He or she doesn't know where to
Cut.
put like or just cut like put some like subtitles or it's kind of very difficult. So I have to tell him or just her every single like kind of cut or segment. So what to do, right? That's almost kind of impossible. Also, I have to pay a lot, so it's kind of impossible. As I said, like put it. That's it.
To be a successful YouTuber, what would you consider to be a rightful attitude? Should an education YouTuber teach and create content with a mindset of teaching the world or teaching a specific niche? Which one would you consider to be a more rightful and more closer to successful attitude?
Yeah, even if you have like something big in your mindset, still I strongly recommend you guys to start very small, because we when you like look around, ourselves, right? We can find a bunch of like students. They come up with the everyday like questions like that, right? I can answer those like small questions. And then that kind of like a question. Those questions are repetitive, right? Then I don't need to like answer those questions again and again and again. Then what is it gonna do is like answer those questions and videotape. I mean, like film yourself, and then that'll help tons of other new students out there. So you can just start small, but that'll just eventually help a lot of people out there. Then you can think big. Okay.
Seth Godin, a very influential writer, once said that he has 20 best-selling books in America.
Wow.
Yeah. And he said once in the interview, he said 99% of the American public has never read a single word of his book. But he is, since the year 2000, he has been one of the top 5 best-selling authors of America.
Wow.
And that's what all about being in your right niche. I started this internet teaching through the break of the COVID, and I had to change. I had two choices. I've been teaching writing for 20 years, and then I've been teaching Sunum for 20 years.
Korean SAT.
Yeah. And I was looking at it, okay, which one had less competition? And Sunum had a lot of competition, whereas writing had much less.
I taught Sunum, so I know.
So I said, okay, do I go with this red ocean filled of sharks and giant squids and killer whales?
That's not good.
Or do I go with essays? And so I went with essays, and I'm now taking on like even kids who has English as their native language. So though it may be a small niche, if you take on the world with it, that's still a huge gulf, not a niche, not a crack. So yeah, that's where
absolutely you're right.
Yeah, that's where we might start with. My last question: any advice to some of our aspiring YouTubers?
You have to like think about your core values. What I'm going to do and what I have to do to change the world a little bit differently. That's like your core values. You have to like think about core values. That's gonna be your kind of philosophy. Then you can study. About the like core value things,
right.
And then you can think of your content. So without content, you're never gonna fill your YouTube channel. Think about suppose you really want to play online games and you want to run a YouTube channel. It's about like playing games. Then you have to decide and think. Do I really want to play games, or do I really want to run YouTube channel? Which goes first? If you feel like, oh, I really want to play games, but I don't have any excuses or reasons, so that's why I just open my YouTube channel, then that's kind of wrong. So first you have to think about, okay, core values, and then content, and then you can just open your channel. You can have your channel, and then you can fill the channel with your core values. Content. That's it. That's the most important thing.
Wow, that's a fabulous advice. Yeah, I remember my daughter telling me. My daughter has 2 game videos on her YouTube channel.
Oh my God. There she goes. She already started.
She has 2 Roblox videos on her channel, and but after making those 2 videos, she told me, this game YouTuber, she told me they spend about 400,000 won, 40만 원 they invest on the videos because their job was to please the viewers, not to please themselves. And I thought that was a great lesson that she had learned when she was 7. Their job wasn't to play games to please themselves, but they're playing so that their viewers will have fun.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Right. So you have to get your priorities straight. When you make content, your content isn't there to make you happy. It's to make your viewers happy, and that's how you build celebrity, and then eventually build fame, and hopefully make some money with it.
Yeah, you got it right. That's what I'm talking actually.
All right. Well, I'm very happy with where this had come, and thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me here.
And all right.